A crack appears in the Heartland family long before anyone notices it. A small shift, a quiet warning, and then suddenly, everything they've built starts shaking. Episode 10 isn't just another chapter, it's the moment the ground moves beneath their feet, pulling them into a storm they never saw coming. A twist so heart-wrenching, so unexpected, it forces every member of the Bartlett Fleming family to face a truth they've been avoiding for years. And once it arrives, nothing will ever be the same. Trouble begins long before anyone can name it. It slips into Heartland like a breath of cold wind, silent but unsettling. Amy feels it first, the way she often does. She senses it in the uneasy stillness of the horses, in the way the ranch seems to exhale heavily, as if bracing for something unseen. She tries to ignore it, burying herself in work, focusing on the one place she has always found peace. Yet, even there, something feels different. Shadows seem longer, sounds sharper, and every instinct inside her whispers the same warning: something is coming. Jack notices the shift too, though he doesn't say it out loud. His eyes carry the weight of a man who has lived through storms strong enough to break most people. He watches his family move through their day, each person distracted, each person fighting their own battles. Lou buried in decisions she never stops making, Georgie trying to steady herself after returning to a place filled with memories, and Tim walking with the restless frustration of someone who refuses to admit fear. Heartland feels stretched thin, like a wire pulled too tight, waiting for the inevitable snap. The first sign arrives quietly, a phone call the family doesn't expect. At first, it sounds routine, something that should have ended with a few simple answers. But instead, it opens a door they thought was sealed years ago. A horse has been found wandering near Hudson's outskirts, thin, scarred, and terrified. The description alone sends a tremor through Amy's chest. Something about this horse's condition feels familiar. Not in the way she recognizes animals, but in the way she recognizes pain. When the horse reaches Heartland, every member of the family stops. Even the air feels heavier. Its eyes are dark and haunted, deep enough to hold a story no one is ready to hear. Amy steps forward instinctively, but the horse flinches, trembling so violently it nearly collapses. Jack moves carefully. Lou holds her breath. Georgie watches with wide eyes, but the reaction is unmistakable. This is not a simple rescue. This horse carries something dangerous in its silence. Amy takes her time, earning its fragile trust one heartbeat at a time. But when her hand brushes its neck, she feels it. Raised skin, old scars, wounds healed but not forgotten. Someone hurt this animal deliberately. Someone who did not want it to survive. And the moment Amy realizes that, she understands the truth that chills her more than the winter air. Whoever did this isn't just out there, they might be coming. Heartland hasn't faced danger like this in years. Not the kind that circles quietly, watching. Not the kind that follows a trail straight to their doorstep. And as night settles in, Amy can't shake the feeling that this horse didn't arrive by accident. It arrived as a warning. The deeper Amy looks into the horse's past, the more the pieces refuse to fit. Every detail feels wrong. Its hooves show signs of running long distances, but there's no record of it belonging to any nearby ranch. Its scars suggest harsh training, not accidents. And the fear in its eyes isn't ordinary. It's learned. Someone taught this horse to expect pain. Someone taught it to survive. But the question that haunts Amy more than anything is simple. What was it running from? Jack tries to keep the family calm, but even he feels the tension rising like smoke. Heartland has always been a place of healing, a place where broken things come to mend. But this time, the danger isn't outside. They brought it in themselves. He watches Amy closely, noticing the way she moves around the horse, gentle but tense, as if she's trying to calm both the animal and herself. Jack knows that look. It's the same look she had during the hardest losses of her life, when strength felt heavier than grief. Lou senses it too. Every time she walks into the barn, she can feel the pressure building in the air. She asks questions, too many, too quickly, trying to get ahead of a problem she doesn't understand. But Amy has no answers yet, and that silence only makes Lou more anxious. She has seen too many things spiral out of control because they didn't pay attention in time. Meanwhile, Georgie becomes the quiet observer. She watches the horse from a distance, studying its behavior with the same caution she uses with people. She notices things others overlook, the way it refuses to turn its back to the open door, the way it flinches when wind whistles past the wooden walls, the way its ears twitch at sounds no one else hears. Georgie recognizes the signs of someone who has been chased, someone who has learned to survive by expecting the worst. Then something happens that pushes Heartland from uneasy to alarmed. On a cold morning, before sunrise, Amy finds the horse's stall door slightly open. Not enough for it to escape, but enough to show someone touched it. Jack swears he locked it. Amy swears she checked it. No one else went into the barn that night. And yet, the latch rests at an angle that doesn't happen by accident. The family gathers, their voices hushed but urgent. Someone was on their property, someone close enough to touch the horse, someone bold enough to walk into Heartland under the cover of darkness. The realization strikes every member differently. Fear for some, anger for others, confusion for all. Tim reacts first. His temper ignites, sharp and hot, insisting they go to the authorities immediately. But Amy stops him. She knows something he doesn't. When she brushed the horse that morning, her hand caught on something beneath its blanket. A small piece of folded paper, damp from the horse's body heat. She didn't open it in front of the family. She didn't breathe a word yet. But now the memory of that moment churns in her stomach like a second heartbeat. When no one is watching, she opens the note. 4 words stare back at her. You know why it's here. Her breath catches. Her mind races. Someone knows her. Someone knows Heartland. Someone knows exactly what this message will do to her. It isn't just the horse that's being hunted. It's the truth behind it. And as Amy folds the note with shaking hands, one thing becomes painfully clear. The storm gathering over Heartland is no longer distant. It has already arrived. Amy's world tightens around those 4 haunting words, and suddenly nothing feels normal anymore. Every sound becomes sharper, every shadow heavier. Even the ranch, usually full of comfort and warmth, feels unfamiliar, like someone has tilted reality just enough to make everything slightly off balance. Amy tries to continue her day as if nothing has changed, but the note stays in her mind like a whisper she can't shut out. Heartland has faced danger before, but this feels different. This feels personal. Jack notices her silence almost immediately. He doesn't push, but he watches her with the quiet concern of a man who has carried too many storms for his family. When Amy's hands shake slightly as she brushes the horse, Jack steps closer and gently asks what's wrong. She wants to tell him. She wants to hand over the fear, the confusion, the uncertainty crowding her chest. But something inside her hesitates. Maybe because she still doesn't understand it herself. Maybe because she knows the moment she speaks it aloud, everything will change. Meanwhile, the strange tension around the ranch deepens. Georgie returns from checking the fences with an uneasy expression. She noticed fresh tracks near the west boundary. Footprints, not hoofprints. Someone was walking near the far pasture, close to where the mysterious horse was first found. But when she tells Lou, the worry only grows. Lou tries to stay composed, but the fear cracks through her voice. She starts checking locks twice, turning on porch lights earlier, glancing through windows more often than she wants to admit. Tim reacts differently. Suspicion fuels him. He becomes restless, pacing the yard, checking the barn every hour, insisting someone is watching them. And even though the others tell him to calm down, they secretly agree. Something is wrong, and it's getting closer. That night, as the family sits around the dinner table, tension thickens like fog. No one eats much. No one speaks freely. It's as if the whole room is waiting for something to break, something to reveal itself. The silence grows so heavy that Amy finally reaches into her pocket. She places the folded note on the table. The entire family freezes. Jack's jaw tightens. Lou covers her mouth with trembling fingers. Georgie stares at the paper like it's a warning from a nightmare. Tim's anger bursts instantly. He demands to know who left it, why Amy kept it secret, how long this has been happening. But Amy's voice breaks through the chaos, steady yet filled with fear. She tells them she didn't know what it meant, and she didn't want to make things worse until she understood more. Before they can argue further, a sudden sound cuts through the tension. A distant thud from outside, then another, slow, deliberate. heavy. Everyone rushes to the door, hearts pounding, breath tight. The porch light flickers, then steadies. The cold night air bites their skin. And there, just beyond the fence line, stands a figure, tall, motionless, watching, not moving closer, not turning away, just watching. The horses in the barn react instantly, snorts, restless hooves, the kind of fear that animals feel only when danger is real. Jack calls out, voice hard as iron, but the figure steps back into the darkness, melting away like a shadow swallowed by the night. No answer, no noise, only footprints left behind in the snow once the family reaches the fence. But the most terrifying part isn't the footprints, it's the direction they came from. Straight from the trail leading to the abandoned west pasture, the place tied to old memories and old wounds everyone hoped were buried forever. Amy's voice barely escapes her throat as she whispers the truth the others have been too afraid to say. This wasn't random. Someone is sending messages. And this horse is only the beginning. The family stands together under the cold sky, shaken and breathless, knowing one thing for certain. Heartland is no longer safe, and whatever is coming straight for them. The tension inside Heartland reaches a breaking point as the truth finally comes to light, and this time nobody can run from it. Amy's confession spreads through the ranch like wildfire. Her belief that she could have prevented the incident, that Phoenix's injury was somehow her fault. The weight of those words shakes everyone, because if Amy starts believing she's failing, the entire foundation of Heartland begins to crumble. Jack watches her silently, feeling that familiar fear return, the fear of losing someone not to danger, but to their own guilt. He knows this darkness. He has lived through it. But the difference now is that Amy isn't just battling the accident. She's battling herself. Meanwhile, Lou faces a storm of her own. Her attempts to be strong for the family are slipping, and the pressure begins cracking through her voice when she tries to calm the others. She can't forget the moment she saw Amy break down, and it haunts her because she knows Amy never shows pain unless it's unbearable. Instead of leaning on others, Lou once again tries to fix everything alone. And that becomes her biggest mistake. When she tries to convince the board to help fund Phoenix's treatment, she ends up in a heated argument that leaves her shaken and questioning her own leadership. She realizes she's losing control, and that realization hits her harder than she expects. But the true shock comes when Tim uncovers information he was never meant to see. While trying to retrace Phoenix's path before the accident, he stumbles upon a detail that sends a chill through him. The fence wasn't just damaged, it was tampered with. Someone deliberately weakened it days before Phoenix escaped. This discovery knocks the air out of Tim's lungs, and for the first time in a long time, he feels fear, not anger. If this wasn't an accident, then everyone at Heartland is in danger, and the person responsible might be closer than they think. Instead of confronting the family right away, Tim tries to make sense of what he found. But the more he investigates, the more everything points toward a truth he doesn't want to accept. This wasn't a random act. It was planned. Someone wanted chaos. Someone wanted Heartland to suffer. And Phoenix became the first victim. The thought of telling Amy devastates him. She's already drowning in guilt. How will she survive knowing someone targeted their ranch? As Tim struggles with the truth, Katie overhears part of his phone call and realizes something terrible is being hidden from the rest of the family. The fear in her eyes reveals everything. The children of Heartland have been trying to be strong, but the silence around them is breaking them down even more. Katie becomes a reflection of what the entire family is going through: fear, uncertainty, and a desperate hope that someone will pull them out before it's too late. When Jack finally pushes Amy to talk, she breaks. Not in anger, but in exhaustion. She confesses she's terrified that Phoenix might never fully recover, terrified that their ranch is no longer safe, and terrified that she won't be strong enough to protect anyone anymore. Jack doesn't argue, doesn't force positivity. Instead, he tells her something she has never heard from him so bluntly. Strength doesn't come from preventing every tragedy. It comes from facing them and still choosing to keep going. And right now, that choice is the only thing keeping the family alive. By the end of this section, the truth hangs over the ranch like a storm cloud ready to explode. Amy is fragile, Lou is overwhelmed, Tim is sitting on a secret that could tear the family apart. And Jack knows they are on the edge of something far darker than a simple accident. The next move they make will decide whether this family breaks or survives the storm that's coming. Just when the family believes they've reached their breaking point, everything spirals even further. Tim finally gathers the courage to share the truth he uncovered, and the moment he speaks the words, "Phoenix's accident wasn't an accident," the entire room falls silent. Amy's breath catches. Lou freezes. Jack's eyes darken with a depth of anger Heartland hasn't witnessed in years. A single truth now stands before them like a storm. None of them are prepared to face. Someone is targeting their family. And Phoenix was only the beginning. Amy sinks into a chair, her mind trying to make sense of a reality she never imagined. The guilt she carried for days suddenly shifts into something sharper: fear. If someone tampered with the ranch's fence, then everything she blamed herself for wasn't her fault. But relief doesn't come. Instead, a new terror settles inside her. What if the attacker has another plan? What if someone else gets hurt? The thought of losing anyone she loves steals the air from her lungs. This isn't just a challenge, this is a threat. Lou, shaken to her core, immediately blames herself for not noticing anything sooner. She goes over every detail, every unusual call, every report she might have overlooked. Her confidence wavers as she realizes she was so focused on running the family and the town that she missed the danger creeping right into their home. The pressure she carries finally cracks, and for the first time, she admits she can't handle everything alone. It's a moment that strips her down to her most human, most vulnerable self, something she avoids at all cost. Jack, however, reacts differently. His shock transforms instantly into determination. He's lived long enough to know fear can destroy a family faster than any enemy. And right now, Heartland needs strength, not panic. But even he can't hide the worry in his voice when he tells them they must remain united. His promise to protect the ranch weighs heavily on his shoulders, because this time, the threat isn't a storm or a runaway horse or a natural disaster. This time, it's a person who knows Heartland's weak spots. As the family tries to piece together clues, Katie becomes the unexpected voice of clarity. She tells them Phoenix was restless long before the accident. She remembers hearing something outside the barn, footsteps, metal clinking, but she assumed it was just the wind. Now, that memory becomes a crucial piece of the puzzle. Her trembling words remind the adults that the danger affected the younger generation too, and the realization stings deeper than any physical wound. Soon, fear turns into suspicion. Questions rise. Who would do something like this? And why? Tim believes it might be connected to someone from his past, someone holding a grudge. Lou thinks it could be tied to the town council's recent decisions. Amy wonders if it's someone who studied the ranch closely, knowing exactly when to strike. The possibilities twist through the room like shadows, leaving everyone unsettled. They don't just feel threatened, they feel watched. The tension reaches its peak when Amy, trying to process everything, steps outside for air. The ranch is quiet. Too quiet. A cold breeze moves across the fields, and a deep uneasiness washes over her. She realizes that the place she once considered the safest in the world now feels fragile, exposed. Heartland, the home that healed countless horses and countless hearts, is now holding a secret darker than anything they've ever faced. But amid all the chaos, something changes inside her. She straightens her shoulders, wipes her tears, and makes a choice. Fear won't control her. Guilt won't drown her. She will stand for her family, for Phoenix, for the ranch, and for everything Heartland has always represented. And with that decision, her strength returns. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady and unbreakable. When she walks back inside, Jack sees it immediately. Lou feels it. Even Tim notices. The fear is still there, but so is a fire. And that fire reminds them of an unspoken truth they nearly forgot. Heartland survives because they survive together. By the end, the family forms a silent vow. They will uncover the truth. They will protect each other. They will rebuild from the ashes of this tragedy. And whoever brought danger to their door will soon learn that Heartland is not an easy place to break. The struggle is far from over, but hope, fragile yet alive, returns to the ranch like the first light after a long storm. Sometimes life at Heartland feels like a long, quiet ride across open fields. But today, it feels like a storm waiting to break. Everything the family thought they understood has shifted. Phoenix's fall, Amy's guilt, the fear that spread through the ranch, it was all part of something deeper, something darker. And now, the truth hangs in the air like a shadow they can't escape. But even in all this darkness, there is one thing that keeps Heartland standing: the power of this family. They bend, they break, they fall apart, but somehow they always find a way back to each other. Amy regains her strength. Lou finds her voice again. Tim finally faces the ghosts of his past. And Jack? Jack becomes the anchor holding them all steady when fear starts to pull them away. Heartland is more than just a ranch. It's a promise, a place where broken things can heal, a place where new beginnings are born even in the middle of chaos. That's why this story doesn't end with fear or confusion. It ends with a spark of hope, small, quiet, but strong enough to keep them going. Still, one truth refuses to fade. Someone out there wanted to hurt them. Someone out there is watching. And whoever that person is, they're not finished yet. So the family stands together, preparing for whatever comes next. They don't know if the answers will bring peace or more pain. They don't know if the danger is a one-time threat or the start of something far bigger. But they do know one thing: Heartland has survived every storm before, and this one will not be any different. And that leaves us with the question that will shape everything moving forward. Who targeted Heartland, and why now? The answers are coming. The truth is getting closer. And the story is only getting darker, deeper, and more emotional from here. If you're ready to follow this journey, to uncover the secrets hiding in the shadows of Heartland, and to stand with this family as they fight for their future, then stay with us. The next chapter is about to begin, and it will change everything.